Hi, this is Jack.
Yeah.
This is Jack. Hi, Jack Black. My name's David. It's nice to meet you. You doing okay? How are you?
How are you? David, Steve.
Lisa.
Nice to meet you. All right, let's take a look at you, Turkey. You're limping. So how long has he been limping?
A couple weeks, 2 weeks ago Sunday, I had the brilliant idea of playing ball with him and threw the ball and he was in a full-on run and pulled up lame.
Gotcha.
And we had him to the vet the next week and we're referred to you.
Super. All right, well, let's take the feel. Hold on, honey. I'm not going to take your temperature. You just relax. It's okay. Good boy. Good boy. Good boy. Just feel your elbows. Good boy. All right, dude. With your permission, I'm just going to listen to your heart. Are you cool with that, Jack? I'll take that as a lick of endorsement.
Take
Thank you.
that as a yes.
Okay. Hold on, honey. Sounds like a freight train. Okay. All right. Well done. You were very brave.
I told you, it would be easy.
Can you have a cookie?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
Jack, you want a Scooby snack? You want that?
Good job.
Good boy. All right. Well, I'm just going to tilt this table down for
Okay.
my show and tell. All right. Good boy. It's kind of scary. All right. Good boy. Well, he most definitely has torn one of the ligaments in the interior of that knee. I'm not sure how much your vet's gone over this with you. Here's a little cartoon of a normal dog's knee looking right inside the front of that knee joint. Here's the kneecap or patella, just like we have, and here's where the knee bends right here. Well, there are two crisscrossing ligaments deep in the middle of the knee, and because they cross like crucifix, they're called cruciate ligaments. Okay. Well, this ligament in the front of our knee is abbreviated ACL, short for anterior cruciate ligament. That's when the athletes hurt all the time. But because dogs are four-legged, when Jack runs around, the knees naturally point toward the skull or cranium, so the anatomist years ago thought it would just be hysterical to call them cranial cruciate ligaments toward the cranium. It's just dog ACL. I can tell he's torn that knee because it's unstable. That ligament should allow your knee just to bend as a hinge. Your ACL prohibits your tibia, your shin bone, from twisting too far inward by itself. Are you eyeballing my bones, Turkey? You don't get that. It also keeps your knee from hyperextending backwards too far. That's the snow skiing accident, or the football player gets crushed in the front of the knee and folds it backwards. But more importantly, it keeps your tibia from sliding right out from underneath you. We call it the drawer motion, like a dresser drawer, cash register drawer. I can instantly feel that inside your child's knee. It tells me Jack has torn that ACL. Well, there's a 50% chance that one of these cartilage shock absorbers have been injured as well. They're called meniscus, have the same name in our knee. Well, those little cartilage shock absorbers don't have a sense of humor about shear. Once that knee loosens up, about 50% of Labradors and linebackers tear cartilage in the knee, that little cartilage shock absorber. So I do hear and feel a little bit of clucking and popping inside that knee, so he might have torn some cartilage. Well, a dog knee and a human knee is very similar. This is actually a human knee model. When we put it over the dog cartoon, it looks almost identical, with one big exception. Our tibia is very flat across the top, because we humans, when we stand upright, lock our knee, we stand atop a level platform. Whereas a dog, his is shaped quite a bit differently. This is facing toward his head in this direction, instead of being flat like a human. See how that bone slants downhill and backwards? We think that's a naughty little recipe ingredient that overloads that ligament and predisposes it to injury. Illustrated by this little model. Here's a side profile of Jack's back leg. Here's his knee, ankle, and paw. Dogs, as you know, don't walk flat-footed, heel to floor like we do. He walks up on the pads of the paw, tippy-toe style. So a tippy-toe dog posture with the heel off the ground and that downhill slant to the back of that bone. Watch what happens to his knee when we simulate a dog walking. It wants to be shoved violently dresser drawer forward right out from underneath him, punishing that ACL every step of his life. It's an interesting design. Ours is not like that. We have a flat foot and a flat knee surface. It takes something pretty catastrophic snow skiing, rugby, car accident, tear your ACL.
Right.
But some dogs are unfortunate enough to have this internal tug of war lead to the demise of that ligament. Well, also, this is the instability creating the pain and the limping we need to get rid of to give him a comfortable knee. In people, when you tear that ACL, they just replace it with something natural or synthetic. We've tried to do that in dogs and it has failed miserably, mainly because of this model. He doesn't have a flat foot, a flat knee surface, long knee to groin length that he can buckle on a Dom Joy knee brace like a linebacker float around, and crutches after surgery. We don't have dog crutches, your crutches.
Yeah.
So,
That's right.
but also the built-in wisdom of Jeff Black to know in the moment what's knee naughty and what's knee nice. Ringing doorbell, or you come home and he goes Bojangles, or he sees a bunny or an SQ. See another SQ word? Squirrel. Yeah, the fuzzy-tailed tree rat. But yeah, they don't think with good judgment. Is this knee naughty or is this knee nice? They don't have as much respect for the knee as we do. But so going through the whole recovery, trying to replace the ligament because that knee in a dog's, the ligament in a dog's knee is under so much exercise and strain, it just tears apart again. So we do a surgery in the big dogs called the Tibial Plateau Leveling Osteotomy. So it's a mouthful of medical gibberish that means this. So by a creative semicircular cut in the bone, we can take that downhill slant that right now is allowing that knee to buckle out from underneath him, tip it forward to create a level walking surface for the rest of his life. Then a special plate and screw system holds all this together, and just like a broken bone, it's going to knit back together to solid strength. We just leave that stainless steel in there. But here's how that surgery works. Right now he puts weight on the paw, the knee buckles forward, and that's why he's limping. Well, we have two ways to try to combat that. One, I know your other dog had the tightrope surgery to try to tighten up that loose knee, but I find that in the very active dogs, instead of tightening up a loose knee, changing the shape of that bone ever so slightly, we can change how these two bones kiss each other under pressure. So then when he puts full confidence in the paw, that knee doesn't buckle, bends just fine. And we haven't fused or locked the knee, but given him a stable surface on which to stand. Well, this is just managing the physics of his knee. Interestingly enough, this was designed by a dude who used to teach physics, switched careers and went to vet school. He described it like this little silly cartoon analogy of two wagons. Here's the human knee, dog knee. If we replace our ligament, we can do pretty well. His wagon's on a hill, and hold your ears, dude. You've got some extra weight in his wagon. Okay?
We can try to manage it.
It hasn't caused the problem, but will help the success of the surgery. Well, instead of trying to manage his cartoon wagon on a hill, we put his wagon on a level parking lot. And 90% of my patients get back to about 90-95% of God-intended comfort and function with this surgery. But the durability, I find, is his main feature. When he puts weight into his wagon and, that knee doesn't buckle.
It doesn't buckle.
He does very well. Okay. Well, it's a big project with some interesting expense attached to it. The time expense is the most important. Okay? Mother Nature doesn't distinguish between humans, athletes, celebrities, movie stars, or Labrador Retrievers. Whenever we have an injury, illness, surgery, it takes time to heal. And that first 6 weeks is on crutches. Again, we don't have dog crutches, your crutches. So just on a leash to potty, right back inside. Because I have had some dogs through the years that have injured this surgery. So the post-operative care, and I'm going to send this home with you, is so vitally important. I've done over 2,800 of these. I've had 9 dogs break it. You don't want to be number 10, it is a mess. An interesting number have been Labrador Retrievers, but that's probably demographics. Most of them have been uncontrollable chocolate-flavored Labrador Retrievers. So I don't think I've had a licorice-flavored Labrador Retriever break this thing. So, well, 6 weeks on our imaginary crutches, on a leash to potty, right back inside, get as much rest as possible. My notes, guys, say strict confinement is mandatory by mid-activity restriction. If he's not comfortable in a kennel, good Lord, don't force him into one. But we want to try to take away the obstacles that can hurt this. Stairs, furniture, playing with his toys. So even if you have to baby gate flights of stairs, cardboard boxes wrapped in aluminum foil stacked on favorite pieces of furniture so they're spooky and shiny and he doesn't want to get near them. But just respecting that he needs to use his crutches from bedroom, restroom, dining room, living room. That's your day. No gardening, yard work, messing around, let your knee heal. Then we'll get an x-ray 6 weeks down the road. If everything's looking good on that x-ray, which it usually is, most of our patients can return to some controlled activity in as soon as 6 weeks. It's like getting off your crutches, but you don't go play football, you don't kill yourself. So you get into the gym, start pedaling on a cycle that we don't have. Walking on a treadmill, where you can take them on walks around the block, simulating safe steps that you would take on a treadmill. And then longer walks on a longer leash, so he can wander back and forth. That's doggy elliptical. A little bit more motion than just boring treadmill, but always on a leash outside till we get that second x-ray 6 weeks after that. Now we're out 12 weeks, which is 3 months, of course. Then if everything's looking groovy on that x-ray, which it usually is, then we can have full freedom around the home, practice with the team, scrimmage, football. It takes a world-class athlete a calendar year to recover from their knee surgery. Our dogs usually reach peak levels of comfort, performance, even world-class athletics, like I've written down here. Field trials, agility, search and rescue. I've had them return to police, military, high levels of function, but usually takes 5-6 months to do that. Okay, so the time is crucial, but then also the emotional expense, not only on you, but Jack Black. He doesn't understand what we're talking about, mainly because he quit listening, which is kind of rude. Anyway, dogs don't get it. They don't remember the lecture. They don't care about the lecture, but they're very confused when he comes home from surgery and he's in dog jail. And I don't like the sheriff and deputy at dog jail. And it's a nice day, and I want to go for a walk, but that witch takes me back into dog jail. That's not fun. So the energy that it takes, rain or shine, you got to go with him and just not assume a predictable pet's going to be a predictable patient. But then also the energy that it takes, rain or shine, and always being on high alert and vigilance and hiding the toys, and then he's not pacing and wandering around, even if we have to use some doggy downers to accomplish that, just some mild sedatives. But also the physical risk and expense, knock on wood. Thank God the risk of anesthesia, surgery, infection, very low but real. The risk of allergic reaction to the metal that we'd have to take that out sometime in his life, pretty low. Medications that make him sick after surgery. Or little cartilage shock absorbers in the knee. When we put that wagon on a level parking lot, we usually find that that helps protect that cartilage shock absorber. But every once in a while we'll have dogs repeat injury, tear cartilage, same knee. Well, also what are the chances that the other knee could do the exact same thing in his life? Well, with his history of rough play, hopefully this is just an athletic injury.
Right. But
we find that 30 to 40% of dogs that have one ACL fail, then hopefully he just tore his. That if it slowly tears out from underneath him, 30 to 40% of dogs have the other knee misbehave, usually in 12 to 18 months. Purebred Labrador Retrievers, that number skyrockets to 60 to 70%.
Oh, wow.
Okay. So hopefully with his history of rough play and coming down and crying once he hurt that knee, hopefully it's not going to be an issue for his other knee. But things that we can do to try to help nurse not only this knee along, but let's try to get as much weight back into this wagon as natural and get some extra weight out of his wagons, so then when he does use that right knee, it's not unnecessarily overloaded. But we usually don't find that, it's a lifestyle. In close to 20 years, I've never seen a racing greyhound tear their ACL. They get a very active athletic career, and then they're rescued from dog tracks in Greensboro, Florida, come to Asheville to run around the hills of western North Carolina, and it's still in close to 20 years never seen a greyhound tear their ACL.
Yeah.
So it's probably not lifestyle, it's probably, maybe genetic influence or hereditary. So just like eyesight, if you're nearsighted in one, you're probably nearsighted in the other, similar prescription, and you probably have family members with eyeglasses. Okay. All right.